All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the very first class of Japanese Zero to Fluent. I would like to start things off very easy with the Japanese writing system. I'm sure some of you already know what hiragana, katakana, and kanji are based on the fact that you're interested in Japanese language. These are the alphabet that they use, and I would like to take you guys through it. So let's go. Okay, for today's class, we start off with a big picture overview explaining what everything is and what we're going to go into about the actual alphabet. After that, we have the hiragana, katakana, and kanji. One by one, I will explain what they are and how to read them. Then dakten and handakten, which is a different interpretation of hiragana and katakana, will be explained then. And then, obviously, what to do next after this class. Right, so the big picture overview. First, we have the very basic letters. We have katakana and hiragana. They represent the actual sounds that are made in Japanese language. They actually make the same language. So when you go to these first five letters we have here, that means a, I, e, o, u. They are the exact same. The only difference is that hiragana and katakana you use for, let's say, mostly foreign words. So let's say we have an English word that you would like to write in Japanese, you use katakana. If you have an actual Japanese word, you use hiragana. These letters together eventually make characters. So let's take the characters for R, E, and Y. So de and I, that's two letters. They make the character that is our icon de, which means, I'm sure some of you already know, that means zero. It's an old way of saying it, but nobody really says de as zero, but it is officially how you say it. Then duct and handukten, they change the way you read certain letters. So there is a little two stripes. That means for this letter, which is ha, it changes to ba. And the little circle means it changes to pa with a P. So let's go into the actual letters. First, we have hiragana and katakana. If I have to recommend you guys something right now, start with hiragana. They use it much more. It'll give you a nice base for the katakana. And then once you got hiragana down, you can go into katakana. Katakana. A little bit of a tongue twister there. Um, some of them are also very similar. Let's look at ka, for example, which is at the top right next to the a. They are very similar. They're just missing one thing. So you'll recognize them right off the bat yourself anyway. Also, when you're practicing them, I really do recommend you to do it in this stroke order because it really helps you with memorizing it. Japanese people do it also do it this way, so they memorize the letters. Same with kanji as well. Eventually, when you start learning those. Um, Quick thing also is that in Japanese language as well, they're all listed as a, I, e, o, u, ka, ki, ke, ko, ku, sa, shi, su, se, so. So it goes on like that. I said it wrong earlier, but anyway, it's in that order always. Um, I want to go into a couple of odd sounding ones. So first we have, let's look at hu. So hu. We have ha, hi, he, hu, he, ho. In the middle, we have a fu instead of a hu. That is because Japanese kind of pronounce that one differently. It's a mix between the F, so fu, and hu. So you kind of get like a airy fu, which sounds like fu. Then the same for the R, da, di, de, do, do. It's like a mix between the letter D and R. So do, not ru, not do, but do. Another one is we and we. You don't have to study those. Nobody uses those anymore. Though they kicked it out of the alphabet, so you really don't have to study those two. If you do know them, that's cool. It's a nice flex, but they're not necessary to know. Some of these letters also change. So tu doesn't really exist unless you do a tu and then a lower e. It's super weird. But this you just pronounce it tsu, and you say ti, you say chi, actually, and si is she. You can write them in a different way, but you will learn that later. So kanji is a connection of different hiragana together. I have some tattooed on my arms as well. These two, for example, is shi and en, and ji and tsu. Together that means shinjitsu, which is truth. And the other is ji and yu. Ji and yu, that means jiu is free. From some people who've watched Attack on Titan, they might know what freedom is, jiu. Let's go into the actual kanji. So there is about 50,000 Daikanwa Jiten kanji written in their word book and their dictionary, but in daily use there's only about 2 to 3,000. So the average Japanese adult will also know about 2 to 3,000. You will roughly get through it with the first 100 you learn. Will also be fine. I was very fine for the first 100 I learned, but eventually I started getting into some roadblocks, and you might want to study more afterwards. To get your base down, just do hiragana first, then katakana, and then at the same time you can learn some kanji, which you really like. Of course, you need to know what day is. Well, you probably already know what it is. That means zero, of course. So let's move on. The dakten and handakten. So this is the little circle and the two stripes next to ha, ka, sa, ta. This makes the letter sound different. So for the little stripes with ka, it'll turn into a ga. Sa, it'll turn into za. Ta, it will da. Ha will be ba. And then only for the H letters, you can also do a little circle, which makes it like the P. So pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Um, Very simple. The circle you will only see for the ha letters. The same also happens for the katakana ones. So this is just something you have to practice, and eventually it's very easy to recognize. It'll just come very fluently, let's say. So it's not really something you should worry about at the start, but you should keep it in mind. And when you have the hiragana once again down, then start adding these into the mix as well. So, what now? After this class, I explained everything very basically, but it's just time to start practicing. I know that I usually say that Duolingo, Quizlet, like that stupid solo learning doesn't really help. But for the letters, I am going to make an exception because you just have to get these into your head. Duolingo, you can press at the bottom right, you can just press a letter and say, hey, I want to do the letters right now, and you start studying those. Or you can just go onto Quizlet and type in hiragana and katakana, and you will just get a bunch of flashcards. Once you get them down, also write them down yourself. So every time you get something wrong or whatever, just do the best way that's studying for you. Writing down for me was the best in the stroke order as well, like we saw here. Once you've got that down a bit, then you could move on to the next lesson. You could also move on to the next lesson early, but I really do recommend having a base of the letters before you do anything else with studying. All right, that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching the first video. I hope everybody has fun with their practice, and good luck. See ya.